Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story from a long-term care hospital where one nurse finally got fed up with a coworker who couldn't, or wouldn't, spell her name right. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. She didn't have time to spell my name right, so I made sure no one could pronounce hers. I'm a nurse at a small long-term care hospital, and like a lot of nurses, I've learned to roll with most things. Long shifts, cranky families, doctors with God complexes. But one thing that still gets me, people butchering my name. It's not even hard, it's just spelled the French way. A few extra letters, looks fancy, sounds the same. I don't mind if someone messes it up at first, but I do politely correct them until they get it right. I even have a little memory trick to help people remember. Enter our resident nightmare CNA. This woman strutted around like she was running the hospital. She'd wear a white coat, which none of the actual nurses even bothered with anymore, and bark orders like she was the chief of medicine. Talk down to patients and even snap at families if they ask too many questions. The kind of arrogance that makes you wish there was a cosmic mute button. Her name, ironically, was painfully simple, one syllable, one standard spelling. Not exactly something anyone could mess up unless they wanted to. I didn't work with her often since she usually picked night shifts, probably to avoid management seeing how intolerable she was. But one night, luck just wasn't on my side. She was assigned as the CNA for my hall, which meant we had to share patient rounds. Every room in our hospital has a little whiteboard where we write our names so patients know who's taking care of them. Usually, the CNA gets to the rooms first and fills them out. Sure enough, when I came by, I saw she'd written my name wrong. Missing 2 letters, of course. I erased it and fixed it, no big deal. A bit later, I saw her at the nurse's station and said, "Hey, I noticed you spelled my name wrong on the boards." No biggie, it's spelled like this. She didn't even look up from her charting, just gave this irritated sigh and snapped, "I don't have time for that." Oh, okay then. So when she went off to do her rounds, I followed behind her. Every single patient board with her name on it, I fixed it too. And by fixed, I meant I turned her short, simple name into a monstrosity. Added silent letters, unnecessary vowels, and a bonus Y or 2 just for flair. If she'd written Tina, I'd make it T-E-E-I-N-A-U-G-H-H. If she'd written Meg, it became M-E-I-G-H-Y-G-H. By the end of the night, half the patients would be asking who M-E-E-G-H-A-N-A-H-H-H was supposed to be. The next shift, every board had my name spelled perfectly. Not one letter missing. She never said a word about it, but I noticed she never misspelled my name again. I love when karma doesn't need HR, just a dry erase marker and a little creativity. She wanted to act like she ran the place? You reminded her that respect is mutual and that even the smallest details can humble the loudest people. And our second story. I read the fine print and walked off with half my boss's company. This happened a few years ago when I was in my early 30s working for a mid-sized SaaS company in Seattle. Open office, cold brew on tap, motivational posters about hustle, and a CEO who thought he was a visionary because he said disrupt 12 times per meeting. We'll call him Ethan. I was the senior dev de facto tech lead for what became their flagship B2B product. I designed the architecture, built the core modules, and held together a terrifying amount of legacy code with duct tape and a prayer. On org charts, I was just a senior software engineer. In reality, if I disappeared, half the platform had a stroke. For a while, it was tolerable. Long hours, so-so pay, but typical startup chaos. Then the money started rolling in. That's when Ethan went from quirky founder to petty tyrant with a God complex. It's just a formality. Just sign it. One Tuesday, I get the classic Slack message, "Hey, Mike, got a few? Come by my office." His office was a glass box with a fake plant and a view of the parking lot. I walk in. He leans back in his chair like he's about to grant me a wish. "Mike, you've been killing it," he says. "We're ready to make you director of engineering. You'll run the whole product, build your own team, bigger bonus, more options. You've earned it." Then he slides a thick packet of paper across the desk. New employment agreement, just standard stuff, non-compete, NDA, some IP updates, the new bonus structure. Lawyers made us do it. Just sign here, and we'll announce it next week. I start flipping through the contract, actually reading it. You'd think I insulted his mother. He laughs, but it comes out tight. Dude, everyone else signed theirs in like 10 minutes. We've got investor meetings, sprint deadlines, the whole thing. We need a loyal engineering leader, not another lawyer. Don't overthink it. Yeah, I say, I'm going to take this home and read it properly. His smile freezes for half a second. Sure, of course. Just don't take too long, okay? The clause he didn't read, but I did. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a mug of coffee and went through the contract line by line. Most of it was standard corporate sludge. Everything you built on company time belongs to the company. You can't go work for competitors for X months. You don't leak trade secrets. Then I hit an appendix in the back. It was clearly ripped from some startup founder/royalty template and lazily edited. Buried in the dense paragraphs was something like, if the company fails to pay agreed-upon bonuses, royalties, or revenue share related to a specific module or product within 60 days of the close of the relevant financial period, all exclusive rights to said module or product shall revert to the original developer until full payment is rendered. A little further down, if a module or product designed by the employee is not commercially launched within 12 months of initial development, the employee retains the right to create and operate a derivative or spin-off product using up to 40% of the original code. For Ethan, this was meaningless junk his lawyer hadn't cleaned up. For me, it was a legal landmine with his name on it. I'm not stupid, and I'm not a lawyer, so I called one. A friend introduced me to a business attorney who agreed to look it over. I sat there while he read the contract and watched his eyebrows slowly climb. Well, he said finally, this is sloppy. But yes, if they promise you bonuses tied to a specific product and don't pay on time, this could give you a real argument that rights revert to you until they do. He tapped the page. If they breach, you've got leverage. They might still fight it, but they've handed you something very sharp. I asked, so this isn't just decorative? He smiled. Oh, it's decorative and dangerous, my favorite kind. I thought about it for a couple days, then I signed the contract very carefully and sent it back. The product that made everything explode. Fast forward about 8 months. We shipped a major B2B analytics mode I had designed from scratch. This was the thing sales had been hyping for ages. Our big enterprise clients wanted it. Ethan had promised it in investor calls, and it actually worked. As part of my shiny new contract, I had a launch bonus specifically tied to this product, a small percentage of net revenue from deals that included it. Not life-changing money on day one, but over a couple years, huge. Launch goes great. We land several big clients. Sales is losing its mind. Ethan's posting about game-changing innovation on LinkedIn every day. Quarter closes, I wait a week, then send a polite email. Hey, just checking when the Product X bonus will be processed per our agreement. Thanks. I get back. We're still closing the book. Should be soon. Great job, Mike. Fine, I wait. A few weeks pass. Nothing hits my account. I follow up again. This time, Ethan calls me into his office. Look, this quarter was tighter than we expected, he says, doing that annoying, fake, sincere voice. We had some unplanned expenses. Let's roll your bonus into next quarter. We'll make it up to you. Also, we're talking about increasing your options. Long term. That's worth way more. Translation, I'm not paying you now, maybe never, but please nod like you're grateful. I walk out annoyed, but not shocked. I start saving everything. Emails, Slack messages, internal reports showing Product X revenue. Next quarter ends, we do even better. Product X is a big reason why. Still no bonus. I send another written reminder quoting the relevant section of the contract. I get vague replies, more next quarter, more trust the process. Meanwhile, Ethan gets nastier. In stand-ups, you're lucky to be here. You'd never get this kind of opportunity anywhere else. People who whine about money don't fit the culture. Cool, good to know. We pass 60 days after the quarter closes. That magic number in the contract. Yeah, we're there. Time to stop being nice. Notice of breach. Pressing the big red button. I call my lawyer again. We go over the timeline. Date of launch, date bonuses were contractually due. My written reminders, their we'll do it later responses, internal docs proving Product X revenue. He drafts a formal notice of breach. It's calm, clinical, and brutal. It lists the contract sections they're breaking, dates and amounts, evidence that the bonus was owed and never paid, the IP clause that says rights revert to me until they do. We don't just send it to Ethan, we send it to Ethan, the company's legal counsel, the chair of the board, the main investor rep. Subject, notice of breach, Product X bonus, and IP reversion. At the same time, I finish setting up my safety net. I register my own LLC. I build a clean, from-scratch version of the core ideas behind Product X under a different name and design. I set up a private demo environment. I have very careful hypothetical conversations with a couple of technical contacts at our clients. Stuff like, if leadership at company ever changed and the platform became unstable, how important would it be to have continuity for the analytics module? Would you consider a separate, more focused vendor for that piece? Their answers told me everything I needed to know. Ethan melts down. The notice of breach hits his inbox on a Monday. By 9:15 a.m., he's standing at the edge of the dev area, red in the face. Mike, my office, now. I walk in, close the door, sit down. He throws the printed letter on the desk. What the hell is this about? He demands. You went around me to the board? Over a bonus? It's not over a bonus, I say. It's about you breaking the agreement you asked me to sign. He rants for a solid 5 minutes. I'm ungrateful. I'm trying to steal company IP. I'm poisoning the culture. Then he says the magic sentence. Those clauses don't actually mean anything. They're just there to look good. Nobody enforces that crap. I just look at him. Apparently somebody does, I say. He tells me this is a huge mistake and kicks me out of his office. 10 minutes later, I get a calendar invite from the board's lawyer for a special meeting. The call that changed everything. A few days later, we're all on a Zoom call. The board's attorney, the investor rep, the board chair, company counsel, Ethan, and me. Ethan's video stays off for the first half. Go figure. The board's lawyer opens with, Mike, thanks for joining. We'd like to hear in your own words what led to this notice of breach. So I lay it all out calmly. The promotion conversation, the contract he called standard, the specific Product X bonus appendix, the launch, the revenue, the internal bragging, my written reminders with dates, the repeated delays and excuses, the clause saying right to revert upon non-payment. I share my screen and show them their own documents, revenue reports, emails, we'll push this to next quarter, Slack, we'll make it up later. No yelling, no drama, just receipts. The board's quiet for a long moment. Their lawyer finally says, based on what I'm seeing, the company did fail to remit compensation as defined in the agreement, and the IP reversion language, while unusual, is not obviously unenforceable. Continuing to use the product without curing that breach presents real legal risk. In polite lawyer English, you messed up, and if this goes to court, you might lose the product that's making you money. Ethan unmutes and explodes. This is insane! He's weaponizing some stupid boilerplate. He wouldn't even have a product if it weren't for this company. He's the one acting in bad faith. The investor rep cuts in, calm and cold. Ethan, you signed his contract. You agreed to the bonus structure. You didn't pay it, repeatedly. This is not a loyalty issue. This is you failing to honor an agreement. Then he turns to me, well, to his webcam. What outcome are you hoping for, Mike? 2 options. I had plenty of time to think. I told them I saw 2 paths. 1, stay and clean it up. They pay the unpaid bonuses with interest. We remove the insane IP reversion language and replace it with standard terms. I get a real leadership role with clear authority and some protection from Ethan's whims. 2, walk away and untangle. They formally acknowledge the breach and that I have a claim to Product X under that clause. They agree to sunset their version and stop selling it within a defined period. I'm free to build and sell my own analytics product as an independent vendor without harassment. I didn't start this to screw anyone over, I said. I just wanted to be paid what I'd been promised. But I also won't stay in a situation where my compensation depends on whether someone feels like it that quarter. They put me in the Zoom waiting room while they conferred privately. 20 minutes later, they bring me back. We're not prepared to restructure your role right now, the board's lawyer says. However, we are willing to negotiate an exit that reflects your rights under the agreement and minimizes ongoing risk for both sides. Translation. We don't want a war. We're going to pay you and let you go rather than risk losing more. The aftermath. The final agreement, after some back and forth between lawyers, boiled down to this. They paid me the overdue bonuses plus a little extra to close things out. They agreed in writing not to pursue me over IP related to the concepts and architecture of Product X. They began quietly phasing out the module, telling clients it was being depreciated as they refocused their roadmap. I gave them a reasonable notice period, handed off what I was obligated to hand off, and left. Within a few months, a couple of those big clients reached out to me directly through my LLC website. They'd heard I was building a focused analytics platform that looked suspiciously similar to the one they liked, without the drama. Over the next year, several more followed. Not all, but enough. Old company? They tried to reinvent the module with contractors. It never quite worked. Bugs, delays, lost trust. Last I heard, Ethan was stepping down to pursue other opportunities in one of those bland LinkedIn announcements. My little shop isn't some billion-dollar unicorn, but clients get a stable product from someone who actually understands it. I get paid on time every time. My contracts are short, clear, and actually mean what they say. And every time I see a founder wave a giant stack of paper and say, "It's just boilerplate, sign here," I remember sitting at my kitchen table reading that tiny paragraph in the back and thinking, that's interesting. Edit. For everyone asking, how could their lawyer allow that clause? Early stage chaos. They clearly grabbed a royalty-based template, half-edited it, and never imagined an employee would enforce it. Ethan wanted aggressive control, not careful drafting. That arrogance is exactly what bit him. Edit 2. Why didn't they just sue you into the ground? Because Discovery would have dragged all their broken promises into the light, in front of investors and possibly the public. They didn't want a court to decide if I owned their cash cow. Settling and letting me walk was cheaper than gambling their flagship on Ethan's ego. Human greed is endless as always, and the greedy pay twice. And in this story, not only that, but much more. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.